Viva Mau Mau, viva! Viva que toca Hengeri, viva! Viva Filmazo Modonikerema, viva! Viva General Madengue, viva! Viva General Rocago, viva! Viva Chemo Neko, viva! Viva Pio Gamapito, viva! Viva Jayo Karaoke, viva! Viva Ojemonel, viva! Viva, viva, viva! Ole yo!
Let's all be seated. Let's all be seated. Viva comrades, viva! Viva comrades, viva! Wapi furaha? Okay, so let's all rise up for the national anthem.
Wa taifa wa mapambano.
Tuzuia sisi wananchi kunyakua uhuru wetu na haki ya jasho letu, na haki ya jasho letu. Kupiga magoti mbele ya hawa wauaji, bila shaka sisi pia ni watu. Hali ya utumwa tumeikataa, hali ya utumwa tumeikataa. Mashamba yetu, tupiganie uhuru wetu, tuikomboe elimu yetu, utamaduni na viwanda vyetu, utamaduni na viwanda vyetu.
Hola yo. Viva Mau Mau, viva. Viva Mau Mau, viva. Viva mama yetu, viva. Viva Wakenya wote, viva. Haya, tutafanya maombi. Kai mwega, we mutangiri waita. Mwamukiri magongo na mandwairo. Kayuri mbele tutingi hoto nidu.
As Kenya Human Rights Commission, continue to celebrate our heroes and heroines in the struggle, in the liberation struggle of this country, Kenya. And so today, we are going to be freeing 3 birds with 1 key. So we will be launching the Mau Mau Foundation website, the Mau Mau Foundation itself, and also a memoir. So today is a celebration for us as the Kenya Human Rights Commission and the Mau Mau War Veterans Association. It's also important that we mention that this event is organized by Kenya Human Rights Commission and the Mau Mau War Veterans Association. And on behalf of the 2 organizations, my name is Annette Nerima Majoni and my colleague Martin Mavenjina. We will be the moderators of the event today. And so we take this opportunity to welcome you all and at the same time extend our appreciation for your presence here today. So thank you very much for coming. We are behind schedule, and so for that reason, we will not be wasting much more time, but delve into it. So thank you so much for coming again. So we will move straight into the program, but we also have Mwingai here, who is also part of the Mau Mau War Veterans Association. He will be assisting us with the interpretation, because looking in this room, we have representatives of the Mau Mau War Veterans Association who largely understand the Kikuyu language and a bit of Kiswahili, so he'll assist us to just ensure that everybody is comfortable and they are able to understand and follow the program as we proceed. So without wasting much more time, let's dive into the program by welcoming the Executive Director of the Kenya Human Rights Commission, Mr. Davis Malombe, to make or to deliver his opening remarks. Mr. Malombe, karibu. You have 5 minutes to do so. Thank you.
Good morning. Kwa sababu baba yuko hapa, acha nianze na kusema haya. Because of time, I would be very brief. First is to welcome you to this event, which, as you have been informed, we have hosted with Mau Mau War Veterans Association, and we are also bringing on board many other stakeholders, including people from Mutembei, and other groups which have suffered also colonial atrocities, and also some of who suffered during the times of Moi, the Nyayawos group, among others. So this is a combination of a long journey we have been part of from 2002, and I know my colleagues will be speaking about this. I remember Wanjiku Miano around 2003 telling me the board has sent her to go to Kenya National Archives to get information about Mau Mau. So this is a journey we have traveled from 2002, and it has also been part of our conversation and also leadership on the transitional justice work in the country for the last 20 plus years. So this journey has had many challenges and also many achievements. And a part of the major achievement was, of course, the settlement, which came in June 2013, where there was a statement of regret, of course, from the British government. There was also a bit of token. We call it token because there's no way you can compensate people who have fought and suffered in this country. And of course, there was a bit of commitment to erect a monument. But that was also not the end of this struggle. And that's why, since then, we have been doing a lot of other things with the Mau War Veterans Association, and which is part of today's agenda, where we are launching of course, the website, which we feel is critical because a lot of information about atrocities which happened in the colonial period, and even others which happened after independence, a lot of that information is not available in many centralized places. So we feel that website was critical. And of course, together with the War Veterans Association, we came up with the idea of registering the Mau Mau Foundation, which is going to take this work forward for posterity. And of course, Mzee Ngitu has also done a very powerful book, which is also going to be part of the launch. So part of the agenda today is also to celebrate Mzee Ngitu for the great work he has done for the last 60 years plus. He's always an inspiration to us because he was telling me in the morning, he got into this struggle when he was 17, and now he's past 90 years. You can see this kind of commitment to change things in the country. So, Mzee, you remain our inspiration, and you remain our mentor, and that's why part of today's agenda is to celebrate also your leadership and also work in the struggle. As a sector, we have also been planning, also convening a veterans forum where we also look back, we see where we have come from and what are the lessons which can also help us deal with the emerging issues in the country. So today is part of that convening, and we are planning to do another major event on 6th of December as we celebrate 75 years of the Universal Declaration on Human Rights. So we'll invite you into another event where we'll be talking about where we are as a country and where we have come. This is because at KHRC we are having this agenda of celebrating our 30 years and also remembering how KHRC has been involved in different struggles in the country. So this event is also coming in the context of 3 developments. One, you remember there was the visit of the King from the UK. And when he came here as KHRC, we issued a statement and also a petition which we submitted to the British High Commission demanding a number of things. Of course, the first one was unconditional public apology for the atrocities which were committed by the British government. What we got, as usual, was a statement of regret, which we believe very strongly is not an apology. An apology is a public acceptance of guilt and also a commitment to provide redress. And compare this to what happened in Tanzania when the German chancellor was in the country the same week, last week. He admitted and said that the German government was really ashamed of the atrocities they committed to Tanzanians, and they were willing to provide remedies on that. And of course, the other demand we made was about reparations for the atrocities which were committed. And it's not just during the colonial period. We are also talking about atrocities committed by the British government and also British citizens and also British corporations in the country since we got independence, because KHRC has been working on a lot of corporate-related atrocities committed by the British companies. So we are looking at all the atrocities committed by the actors from Britain from 1895 to date. So there was very little conversation about the atrocities which have been committed after we got independence. So we are still pushing for those demands, and we hope the British High Commission and the British government is going to call us for a meeting as they indicated when we issued the statement last week. Number 2, this is also coming in a context where on Friday last week, we had a field visit with the Senate Committee in charge of Legal Affairs and Administration of Justice in Ngelani, where Mwindi Bingu was also leading a struggle in 1938. So we are happy the Senate has also taken up this issue of dealing with colonial atrocities, and they also committed to have a process where they are going to document and deal with everything the British government did in the country during the period they were here as colonizers. And of course, the final context is what happened yesterday, where we got a settlement for the atrocities which were committed by the Patel company in Nakuru. You remember the dam, which caused a lot of deaths in 2018. We have been part of that struggle, and yesterday we had a bit of settlement where the government also committed to pay remedies to more than 50 people who lost their loved ones and others who lost their lives. So what we are saying is when it comes to dealing with past atrocities and also emerging injustices, we remain very committed until justice is delivered according to UN-guided principles on the right to remedy, which talks about effective reparations, unconditional apology, rehabilitation, which is providing psychosocial support to people who suffer in those struggles, and of course the satisfaction, the process of negotiation when it comes to these atrocities. The people who suffered must be involved and must be satisfied. And finally, because of moving things forward, there must be a guarantee of national reputation. Because there's no point of providing remedies for the past and you continue committing human rights violation within the current and the future context. So with those remarks, I just want to challenge us to remain committed to pushing for the implementation of the Constitution of Kenya, because in Article 19, the Katiba is very clear that this country is going to be run on the basis that the Bill of Rights is going to be the framework for governing the country, not these economic models we have been seeing being advanced by our government for the last 10 years. I think we have a context where our leaders think by running the government in the Chinese model, where the economy, the delivery of the economy is everything, does not transform change to the people, especially economic and social cultural rights, which can also be framed as economic and social development. So with those few remarks, I want to wish us a very insightful conversation and indicate that we are going to be having more and more engagements. So Mzee Ngitu, we congratulate you and salute you for the investment, political investment you have put into this struggle. And of course, Baba, our chairman Davida there, and many others who are in this space. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Davis, for those powerful remarks. Indeed, our wazees are in their sunset years, and therefore the need to keep memories alive. And that's one of also the reasons why we are here today. So without taking much more time, I will invite Mr. Michael Mwingai, who is the coordinator, Mau Mau War Veterans Association, to also make his remarks in 5 minutes. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My name is Mungai, the coordinator, Mau Mau War Veterans Association. And I want to request, because of all these old men and women, most of them, they can't hear what we are saying, engage in English. So, adwa ito murega inyuothe taiga igemi njega ni undu adwa matugeneire muthenya wa muthi ndiraigua ugai roge. Thank you. Gwamba kwaria na Gikuyu nigetha manyite na njarie na Githweri ni aria mokite nigetha mamenye niki tukite gwika guku. Nitukoretwo twaririirie uhoro uyu na ni wa mbere gwamba gucokia ngatho. I'll announce it in English afterwards. Ni undu wa inyuothe mukoretwo muguku muthenya wa muthi. Idwe andu a Mau Mau ni muramenya tumite bururi wothe wa Kenya. We have come from all counties in Kenya. You are here today. David Aramba, you are our chairman. And that's why twina gikeno muthenya wa umuthi ni gukorwo ni turoka gwika maundu matatu haha umuthi nigetha muthikiririe muigwe. Tunakuja kufanya maneno matatu hapa leo. Leo tunakuja kuzundua Mau Mau Freedom Fighters Foundation ambayo itasaidia sisi kama vile tulikuwa tunaambia nyinyi tangu mwanzo. Tunataka hiyo foundation iwezeshe sisi kujenga monument kwa wale kwa site zote ambazo watu wetu waliuawa. That is the one item. Ya pili, tunataka wale wa vijana wetu wadogo ama watoto wetu wale wa kusoma, hii foundation tusaidie kwa sababu watu wengi wetu watoto wao hawakusoma. That's why through Kenya Human Rights Commission tuko na furaha kwenyu. Kwanza kutoka mwanzo wakati tulishikana na nyinyi tukapeleka kesi Ulaya, tumefanya maneno na nyingi, baba akatusaidia, yuko hapa. Hatujaachana na yeye baba. Na ndio tunashukuru wewe. Ukuwe na sisi, wewe ni mzalendo kama sisi. Ndio tufike mwisho. Tukiongezwa na Marombe, Mungu akusaidie. Hii Kenya tuendeze mbele. Na msirudi nyuma jameni. Ndio tufikie watu maneno yao. Na niko na furaha kwa mzee wetu Kitu Kahengeri. Mzee mkongwe lakini akili yake body ndio imekuwa ngumu, lakini akili ni smart. Nyinyi hamjui akili yake ni smart. Mungu amemlinda na yuko na afya sawa na tutaendelea mbele. Hiyo ingine tunakuja kuzundua ni kitabu mzee ameandika, The Betrayal of Mau Mau Freedom Fighters. Ni kitabu mzee ameweka hekima yake yote hapo. Kwa hivyo hiyo ni kitu ingine ya tatu. Ya pili. Ya tatu tunakuja kuzundua website ya Mau Mau Freedom Fighters. Na hakuna watu wengine wamesaidia sisi. Kupitia Kenya Human Rights Commission, baba ameingia ndani na haki ya Mungu amsaidie. Kwa sababu sisi tulikuwa kwa shimo, lakini Mungu akatuokolea kutoka through Kenya Human Rights Commission. Kibudha Kibwana, tunakusaruti bwana. Vile maneno umefanyia sisi. Tuna mtu mwingine anaitwa Chief Justice, former Chief Justice. Tunamjua, amefanyia sisi mema. Hata hatuwezi ongea juu ya ile kesi tulikuwa nayo. Paul Mwite, tunamuona hapa. Jamaa mchupavu huyu, ambaye alielekeza maneno yote ya kesi yetu wakiwa na Gitofu Imanyara. Mjue Mungu tunamuombea mweke pema. Na mkue hamuna hata ugonjwa. Tunataka ugonjwa itoke kwenye ndio tufike Kanaani pamoja. Hiyo ingine tutaendelea na nyinyi na tugeomba mtisiwachirie. Marombe usiachirie sisi. David Aramba usiachirie sisi mpaka hii maneno imalizike. Tutaengage vile Marombe amesema na mzee atasema hivyo. Na vile King alisema tutaengage, lakini mkue ndani na sisi. Watu waweza peleka sisi kombo lakini mkue macho. Nikimalizia nikisema asante sana kwa wale wote wameingia kwa hii lasama yetu ya leo. Mungu alinde, mkue na sisi, na tukirudi nyumbani wa Mau Mau mwambie watu wetu kawera no karathie nake. Kawera no karathie nake. Na gatire karaco. Twathiaga tukenete, tugacoka twikite atia. Na tugutura na Ngai. Na mboco ya gwathi tugeka atia. Ngai wa muamurathi. Mungu ambariki na komea hapo. Thank you.
Makofi kwa Mungai. Okay. Asante sana Mungai for those excellent remarks. Kwa majina naitwa Martin Mavenjina, nafanya kazi na Kenya Human Rights Commission. Right Honorable Prime Minister, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me at this juncture to invite our board chair, the board chair for the Kenya Human Rights Commission, to make his opening remarks. Mr. Devinder Lamba, you're welcome.
Mzee Gitu Kahengeri, Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, Mshubja ya Mau Mau comrades, hamjambo zote, hamjambo tena, asante. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Kenya Human Rights Commission, I would like to extend their sincere appreciation to Davis Malombe, senior management and all the staff of the Kenya Human Rights Commission and the Mama War Veterans Association for the achievement that we are commemorating today. That is the establishment of the Mama Freedom Foundation, the release of the memoir, and the website. The association, as you know, was prescribed from the colonial times throughout the independence period by the governments of Kenyatta and the governments of Moi. It was the NARC government that registered the association, and that was because it was a demand put on the table to the NARC opposition before the elections that they would register the association, among other demands. Now, 20 years later now, that was 2003, we have reached a new milestone. We have never given up the struggle, and the struggle will continue. What I would like to do is to speak briefly about one of the components of the out-of-court settlement, and that was the establishment of a monument towards the victims of torture and ill treatment during the colonial era. As you know, I have been in the movement, I've been in the KHRC. When we were told that there would be such a monument that will be established, I went to work as an architect. What the impression I got, what the British government wanted was maybe to put some physical feature somewhere in the city with a plaque with appropriate text. I started to work with KHRC and with architect Diana Lee Smith, my partner, who is here with us this morning. Most of you who know her worked on the memorial. So when the committee was established for the establishment of the memorial, we wanted the committee to make some key decisions before any architectural design work was commenced. One was that we wanted a memorial site which was in a public space within which the memorial will become a place. The Nairobi City County that was part of the committee, plus the British Embassy, National Museums, KHRC, and the veterans, with two of us just simply as ex officio members. The county gave us the site where we wanted. That was next to the Freedom Corner. The next thing, we tried to help the committee to make a decision that this memorial will be a place, not a statue or where you can't interact, but it must tell the whole story, and it must have a narrative. So we agreed to have 12 panels, or plaques as they're called, to tell the story. And they were created by the committee, but all of them had to be approved by the Foreign Office. But in the process, when we were creating the narrative, it was not easy. There were tense moments. There were objections from the British Embassy on the use of the word Mama for Land and Freedom Army and many others. We stood our ground, and finally they had to send it to Foreign Office, and some of the panels had to be approved by William Hague, the Foreign Secretary. So that was a struggle. We achieved that. After having achieved the site and the concept and this, the committee decided to hold an architectural competition. So both of us left the committee because we wanted to enter the competition. The competition was organized by BORAC, which is the registration body of quantity surveyors and architects, according to the rules and regulations, and they established a jury. So architect, me and Diana entered the competition and we won it. And that's the memorial that you see. What is ironic here is that our colonial masters established a memorial towards the victims of torture and ill treatment. But our own government so far has done nothing to memorialize the human rights abuses in Kenya since 1963 as a form of symbolic reparation as recommended by Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission. Isn't that ironic? It is. It's very ironic. And the current government has no interest anyway. Okay? So, Mungai mentioned about memorialization, which is a form of symbolic reparation, and that is by our governments as well as the British government. It's not just the British government any longer. And this is all detailed in the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation report. Struggle continues. I thank you for your attention. Asante sana.
Thank you, Mr. Davinder Lamba, for those wonderful remarks and giving us a rich history about